Welcome back to Golf Extra. Not all types of professional golf are played on famous golf courses like Augusta National and St. Andrews. Rather, there's another type of competition known as long drive, and within this subgenre of pro golf, there might just be a new player holding the title of the greatest of all time. Don't forget to hit that like button and subscribe for more videos just like this one. Now let's get right into Kyle Berkshire's recent feats. Kyle Berkshire didn't start out as a long drive phenom. He first started out as a collegiate golfer at the University of North Texas and the University of Central Florida. He even has made an effort to compete in the PGA Tour, a pursuit which coincidentally led him to his most headline-grabbing feat yet, as Berkshire himself related in a recent interview. When the pandemic shut down the professional tour in 2020, I was driving across this country and stopped to play this course in Wyoming on my way to the West Coast. The 14th hole was straight downwind that day, and I hit a drive 480 or 490, not even going at it. I realized this is where I could maybe hit the longest drive ever recorded sometime. The timing never worked out, but the idea of hitting the longest drive ever stuck with Berkshire. And after several successful years on the long drive circuit, the timing was finally right for Berkshire to attempt the record. He continues, "I started a YouTube channel called The Bombers Club, and I thought this would be a great way to jumpstart that. So we threw this together. The people at the Rochelle Ranch Golf Course said the weather gets sketchy in October. When we got there, we were going to do it on a Wednesday, but the weather was deteriorating rapidly, and we moved it up to Tuesday. It was supposed to be 68 degrees with 25-mile-per-hour winds straight downwind, but it ended up being a high of 52 and rain most of the day. The record almost didn't happen, and it took yet another clutch performance from Berkshire to etch his name in history." He continues, "I arrived at the club at 11 a.m. I was going to hit at 3 or 4, but one of my team members who'd been out playing came busting in and said, 'Dude, you've got to go right now. This is your best opportunity. It's playing straight downwind.' So 100 guys scrambled at 11:45, and I had balls in the air at 12:05. The rain came after my first 20 swings, but I got 579 on my 8th ball. I wanted to go for 600 later in the day, but by 3, there was driving rain and a headwind." It wasn't the first clutch performance by Berkshire, who had previously won 2 World Long Drive Championships, and it put added pressure on him to perform in another World Championship happening shortly after his record-breaking drive in Wyoming. Berkshire certainly felt the pressure, saying shortly after the World Championship concluded, "Hitting that record was nice, but for the tournament, it really only made things tougher on the mental side. It's the tall poppy syndrome. When you get to the top of your sport, it's only natural that guys are going to be gunning for you. Everyone wants to bounce you from the tournament, and that was very much the case this week." As it turned out, Berkshire was able to fend off this challenge, winning his 3rd World Long Drive Championship by only a matter of inches. And what was it that allowed him to perform at his best? Simple, as he says. "My mindset was that if I hit the ball as I can hit it, I would have the edge. You've got to swing with that thought and then expect the results." Simple yet effective goals like this have pushed Berkshire into a rarefied company, as he has become only the 3rd player in long drive history to win 3 world championships alongside Sean Pfister and Jason Zubak. This has led some in the golf world to label Berkshire as the GOAT, but does Berkshire himself think so? As he says, "I respect those guys beyond measure, and to even be close to being mentioned in the same air as them, it's pretty humbling for me. I'm just going to keep my head down, keep training, keep taking care of my body, and just keep taking swings. Hopefully, I'm around for another 15 plus years and I can rack up another couple more." He continues, "I wouldn't dream of calling myself the best ever, but if we're talking about the top 3, I think that I belong in that conversation." For what it's worth, Zubak has high praise for Berkshire, placing him among other all-time sports greats by saying, "Every sport has unicorns, whether it's Michael Jordan or Wayne Gretzky or Tiger Woods. Kyle is what I think of as a super unicorn. The combination of his natural ability and his work ethic are a perfect storm." Zubak continued, "Kyle just keeps putting the hammer down with velocity. He has pushed a whole new generation of long drivers into a speed race. This all begs the question, how did Berkshire get into the long drive game? He was recently asked by Sports Illustrated if he still thought about becoming a PGA Tour pro, to which he responded, "You'd be surprised, I do from time to time. My issue was I could go really low on any given day. I just had trouble stringing together 4 consecutive rounds. I gravitated toward long drive because you can have 17 great holes in golf and one bad hole completely ruins it. But in long drive, you can have 7 bad swings and one great swing could redeem the entire set. So, if Berkshire had the natural ability and potential, what drove him to compete in long drive? As Berkshire tells it, I hit a 474-yard drive in my first long drive qualifier and won. If I hadn't won, that probably would have been my only long drive tournament because I was pretty set on going back and starting my sophomore year in college. I felt really close with my game, but that was qualifying for the Worlds, so I figured I'd better do a little long drive throughout the summer. I still had a spot on the team waiting for me that fall, and I almost won it. When I saw the TrackMan numbers popping up on the telecast, I had no clue I had 220-mile-per-hour ball speed. I just thought I was getting a lot of good kicks down the grid. I had zero clue I was one of the 4 fastest ball speed guys in the tournament, and that's when I realized I can win this tournament. I actually can. Berkshire continued, I gave myself 3 years to win the World Championship, and if not, I would go back to pro golf. I won it all in 2019, and at that point, my path was fairly set. Once you win a World Championship, you pretty much make a good living at long drive the rest of your life. Along the way, Berkshire has gotten plenty of help, but from no bigger celebrity in the golf world than Bryson DeChambeau. A long drive competitor himself, DeChambeau has given Berkshire advice throughout their blossoming friendship, with Berkshire relating on the Loop podcast. One of the biggest things Bryson's told me about golf is that it doesn't matter what your swing looks like. It doesn't matter what you're thinking. It doesn't matter your experience level. All that matters is how repeatable your golf swing is. This advice has obviously proved useful for Berkshire, not only in his long drive career, but also in his pursuit to compete on the PGA Tour one day. Berkshire continues, that advice is something that, as I continue to work on my golf game with an ultimate long-term goal of at some point, if I get good enough, maybe playing in an event or two, I just focus on repeatability. I ask myself when I'm practicing, how repeatable is this motion? I don't ask, what does it look like? Is it pretty? I ask, can I repeat it? So, can Berkshire qualify for the PGA Tour someday? Only time will tell, but Berkshire has one course on his list for his ideal venue to compete at, Torrey Pines. As he says, the greatest thing about the PGA Tour is the qualification process. It's rigorous. There aren't any flukes. You aren't going to just catch lightning in the bottle. But at Torrey, if you can fly at 340, there are all kinds of advantages. If I got my game in shape and my putter got hot, maybe I have a chance at the weekend. Here's hoping that we one day see him bombing long drives and holing putts at Torrey Pines. For now, he'll have to settle for a very impressive consolation prize, the potential GOAT of long drive competitions. Comment with your thoughts and make sure to subscribe for more content like this. We'll catch you in the next one.